Okay, let's start. Who are we?
Ladies first.
All right, I'm Megan. I am originally from outside of Philadelphia and attended Penn State University. And when I graduated, I went into the Peace Corps, and that sent me here to Panama. I served as a Peace Corps volunteer in a lot of different areas for 2 years. And then during that time, met my now husband, Oscar, and we got a little boy here in Panama, and we've got the company, and I help with a lot of aspects in Retire in Panama tours as far as logistics and operations. So if you came on tour with us or come on tour with us, you'll meet me and you'll get a lot of emails from me too. But when I was in the Peace Corps, they taught us a lot about how to deal with emergencies here in Panama. But one of their biggest advice was to really have good neighbors and good friends that can help you out in case of emergency, because that's how unreliable the emergency services are here in Panama. And I am really grateful for the people that are going to come on tonight that help out foreigners to address emergency situations. So you're going to learn a lot.
Yes. Ready?
My name is Rod. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. Moved here 12 years ago. Never looked back. Love it down here. But one of the first things I noticed, it reminded me of what North America, Canada, was like in the 1970s when I was growing up as a kid, staying in grandma's house out in a small town. And it just reminds me so much of that. Little things like, the water might go off or the power might go off now and then, that the nearest hospital was 30 miles away and you're going to be taken there in the back of somebody's wood paneled station wagon. That is, all of Panama is not like that, but some of the rural areas are still like that. And you got to, if you're looking for something more 2020 North American style, we have that here for you too. But the things we're going to be talking about today are very important to any expat moving here. You have to realize you're not moving to California, Florida or Arizona. This is a different country. There's different protocols. It's a different language. When you phone 911, there is not an option to press 2 for English. Okay, so what do? We're going to find out that tonight. When we have different we don't have hurricanes, we don't have tornadoes like the area I grew up on, but we're going to talk about what Panama could have and what to do in that case. So after I moved here, I met this guy here, Oscar, very shortly after, and he got me out of a bunch of jams because I did everything wrong. And we soon became good friends and business partners and have done many things together, including the current company we've been running now for 5 years, Retire in Panama Tours. So this Q&A, and 100 or so of you now, we've surpassed that are logging in, is for you guys. So we're going to interview the 3 people, and once we're done, you guys can ask them directly your questions and the topics that I was talking about earlier.
Great.
Okay. Oh, that's me. That's me.
Intro?
Yes, it's your.
Oh,
I took up most of the
I
time.
forgot that I was even present
You
here.
got 30 seconds.
Oh my God! Cheers! She's just Everybody, I am. I'm the seal of the team, of course. I'm Oscar Peña, originally from Cali, Colombia. Of course, capital dance, salsa dancing. I've been here in Panama for 14 years. I've been working since 2006 in tourism and hotel industry, so I have a vast knowledge about tourism and also the getting to know clientele and people from all over the world, including mostly from North America. I'm the one who actually executes our tours in Panama and make sure everything is done as perfect as we can imagine, making sure your arrivals, the week, you learn about the interaction with the Panama culture, making sure to show you what it's like getting fresh sugarcane squeeze out of the cup from the sugarcane in your hand, small things like that. And yes, I'm very grateful that I have this company with these 2 guys. This is a family business. I'm very proud to say this is a very family business with my wife and my business partner, my brother Rod. And this is who we are tonight, as Rod say. It's about emergency. What will happen? Panama is different than many other countries. Even our neighbor country or my country, Colombia, it's a whole different. In Colombia, we have efficiency systems in the main cities, but here in Panama, we might have in Panama City, but that's it. So it's very beautiful learning experience about this situation. What could happen in the situations you might have in Panama, like mudslides, flooding, stuff like that. And although also situations in life that will bring, like when we're just the end of the path for us. So how we prepare ourselves. So we're gonna address all that. So thank you so much in advance for witness and to be tonight with us and investing your time in this
So
Q&A.
before we begin, because I have a time for 10 after, you got 1 minute.
Mhm.
What do we do as a company? Like what do we do every month?
What we do is to make sure people are having a great time, get to see this beautiful country, make the right decision. Basically, that's what we try to do. Make the right decision.
It's really hard to know, like, that you want to move to a country, but you haven't been there before. How do you get all of the information you need, know the best places to check out when you go there? And we kind of give you all of that in 1 week. So it's super helpful if you're thinking of moving to Panama. We also offer other services if you already know you're moving here and just need a little bit of assistance. So, yeah.
You know, we're unique in the business. We have maximum 12 people. Actually, we started tour this week with 8 people. So sometimes it's 8 or 9, sometimes it's 10, 11 or 12, maximum 12 people. We don't do giant busloads of people. And most of you know, we've been sold out a lot. There's always things happen in people's life. We have a couple cancellations. We could take 2 of you in November 9th and 2 of you in December the 7th. But other than that, come next year.
The most important is what differentiates us from any other company that does these similar services is that folks, we care personally about every single individual of you. What you getting in
Because I can't see what that's okay. Go ahead.
get some glasses?
Go ahead. Continue
Anyway,
talking.
so what we're saying is we do the things the way we do because we're very hospital and personalized company. And that's why we rule the numbers very low on the tours.
Yeah, you'll meet all of us.
Okay.
I mean, all of us, no need for book or anything like that. To just get the real information and you save a lot of money in 1 week.
Let's start. The first one, natural disasters. We are going to bring on Mr. Dave. And what do we call him?
Disaster Day.
Disaster
Disaster
Day in the
Day.
house.
Dave Nicholes. Now, guys, this is not just a guy that, spend a little bit of time helping somebody clean up a sewage overflow in their basement. This guy has done it. Dave has been part of the SRT, which is a volunteer response team member of ShelterBox since 2013. He has deployed 10 times. 9 of those were outside of the US on international disasters. He spent 20 years in the US Army. After that, he was 4 years as the disaster director for his local Red Cross with deployments across the country. He retired from public health in Seattle, King County after 8 years as an emergency manager. This guy knows what he's doing. Since he's retired, since he's been living in Boquete, him and his lovely wife Bridget for the last 3-4 years. He was in Haiti in 2021 during that incident, Pakistan in 2022, and you just got back from Turkiye. How do I say that properly?
Turkiye.
Yeah, Turkiye. Okay, what happened there?
Massive earthquakes.
Okay, sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They had 3 large earthquakes.
Yeah, I was away from my computer that day, so
Hey, what you doing? That vacation will give you some youngness in that face. You look a little.
Yeah. Well, I shaved this morning. Hey, Rod, can you let me share screen?
yes, please do.
I can't. It
Oh.
says you haven't enabled it. You disabled it,
Okay.
as you would. So while he's trying to figure out what he's doing, so I was on the first tour of this company, my wife and I and another couple, and I have to tell you, we had a blast. And the after service has just been great, helping us get settled. So we've been here 3 years. It's just been wonderful.
Wonderful. Okay, you can share now.
I got it.
Okay.
So I don't want anybody to think that this is a dangerous place. It's not. I wouldn't be here if it was. It's a really great place, and this is a picture from the house I lived in when I first moved here. We live in paradise for those of us that are here and those of you that are coming. But hang on, it's not moving forward. But just like anything else, we have issues. So I just want to kind of quickly go through some of the issues. So the first is we live facing a volcano. It's not an extinct volcano. It just hasn't done anything in a while. And with that, as you can see in the top right picture, are earthquake faults. So we have lots of little tiny earthquakes. So it's something just to be aware of, that we do live in earthquake country. Flooding and landslides. I have a weather station, and yesterday we had 5.99 inches of rain in about 4 hours. So we had a few little landslides along the road. So you need to be cognizant when you move here, or if you just newly live here. We have a lot of rain. Last year, my weather station was 207 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain. It's got to go somewhere. It goes downhill, so live on the hill. We lose electricity pretty regularly in different areas, different amounts. I just moved to Palmyra, which is a suburb of Boquete, and we don't lose our power very much out here. So you need to be prepared for that. Your refrigerator will be fine for about 6 to 7 hours, as long as you don't go in it a lot. But after that, you have to have some way to keep your food frozen. You could lose all your food. And if you need electricity for like a CPAP or any other electrical equipment, you need to take stock of what you're going to do if you don't have your own electricity coming into the house. And I'll talk about that near the end. Roadblocks. It's a popular form of demonstrations here in Panama, and it happens quite a bit. Was it last year, you guys? We were blocked for a week.
Yeah, last August.
Yeah, last August. They completely cut off the Pan American Highway. And so what that means is no food gets through the grocery stores. The gas stations ran out of gas. No medicine was coming in. And there were some issues with getting people to hospitals. So some of the things you need to think about is how much food do you have? Do you have enough food to get by for a week? Never let your car get below a half a tank. There's a lot of reasons for that. One is so you don't run out of gas. The other is so you don't suck sludge out of the bottom of your gas tank into your engine. And if you have to take medicine, and I do, I keep 2 months worth all the time on hand. So kind of think about that. Some other things that aren't quite as big of a deal, disease outbreaks, mass shootings, that really doesn't happen in Panama because there's not a lot of guns, thank goodness. Transportation accidents, and fires. And as Rod said, we're outside of the hurricane zone. But in November of 20, we got sideswiped by 2 hurricanes that took out a whole bunch of roads in the area. Other countries above us got hit worse, but we got a lot of rain in a short period of time. So really, when you think about what to consider, some things on the screen there, really need to think about how you're going to go about coping with stuff if something happens. And so again, just kind of thinking about what could go wrong if it's not like Oscar's saying. So if you don't have electricity or no ATM, so you can't get cash out. You can't pump gasoline because unlike gas stations in southern United States, there's no requirement to have a generator on site to pump gas. You can't buy groceries because everything's barcoded and nobody in the store knows what the price of anything is. We don't have a McDonald's, that's not important. No lights and no heat or air conditioning. If you haven't been here yet, you don't need either one of those things anyway. Medical, I talked about medicine deliveries being held up, ambulances, and you traveling to doctor's appointments in David could be an issue. So one of the things that I've always taught, because I taught preparedness in the US, is to make a plan. Involve everybody in your circle, your family, your friends, and figure out what you're going to do. Who are the people in your neighborhood? I think Megan said that in the Peace Corps, they taught them to have good neighbors. Well, you can't have good neighbors if you wait till something hits the fan before you say hi to them. So as you move into a neighborhood, whether they're Panamanians, Americans, Canadians, whatever, get out and meet your neighbors, partly because they may need more help than you. Be part of the solution, be somebody's hero, and build a kit. I gave Rod a list of possible stuff for like a go kit if you have to leave. And I am not a proponent of you going on Amazon and buying a first aid kit that's prepackaged or a go kit, because all you're going to do is throw it in the closet. It's about the conversation of building a first aid kit, about building a go kit. If you have to leave, you need to have something pretty close to packed. So what's important to you? You need, water and food, and medicine and clothes, map, a compass, your phone, charging cables, but other things that would make you feel okay. 2 things in mind is a bottle of red wine and chocolate.
Yes.
It's important. So think about what you're going to do. So I talked about first aid kit. I talked about food, water. What do you do if you don't have any potable water? How do you make the water clean enough to drink? Consider getting a water purification system. They make some that are like straws that you can just stick in a puddle and drink, and it'll be totally okay. Lights, do you have flashlights? Do you have solar lights? So in the picture there, the left light is called Luminaid, Luminaid. That's a solar light. It'll charge in the sun back to full power in about 11 to 12 hours. And it'll give you about 50 hours of light. So the group I work with out of England, ShelterBox, we pack these in all our kits that we give to people when we go into disasters. They're great, they're hardy, and you can buy them on Amazon. If you're in the Boquete area, the Rotary Club of Boquete, of which I'm a member, we will be selling those at a pretty good discount, probably in the next month or so. Again, I talked about, go ahead.
For me, for now,
Oscar's placing orders.
gonna have to.
We'll talk. I talked about the fact that there's no power, you don't have cash. So I'm not telling you to keep $10,000 on the dresser in your house, but keep some 20s. Cab's not expensive here, but they don't take credit cards. Medication, keep extra medication. You have a map that's not inside your phone. What if your phone's dead and you don't have ability to charge? So you need to have a map and have battery or solar power. So the bottom left picture, that's called Blueit, BLUEITT, I think, and that's a 2,000 watt battery. Mine is sitting at the end of my couch and it's plugged into the wall, and we use a charging station. But if the power goes out, we can plug our refrigerator into that and it'll run our refrigerator for about 12 hours.
Cool.
And we have never had a power outage longer than 20 hours since I've lived here. So consider something like that. We also have a solar panel to recharge it too. So some other things I just want to cover, things that I do. So when I go to a country, I register with the US Embassy. If you're Canadian, the Canadian Embassy, South African, whatever. There's a program called Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, and it's basically step.state.gov. And I'm registered in that. My wife and I are registered in that because we live in a foreign country and we're American citizens. So we want the State Department of Panama to know we're here. Likewise, when I go to Turkey, Pakistan, Haiti, I register that I'm going to be there because I want them to know I'm there in case they need to evacuate us. And Rod will have that address. He can give that to you. Meet your neighbors. Again, they may need more help than you do. And last but not least, what's your exit plan? What if you have to leave the country? Just sing the song, Do You Know the Way to San Jose? Because that's where you would go, is San Jose to the north. So that's really just a real quick primer. I told Rod when I teach this in the US, it's an hour and a half. But I just want to give you an idea of some things you should be thinking about as you consider moving to Panama, or if you're already here. Again, my local Rotary Club, we're working on preparedness plan for our club members. We get all to the community, trying to help everybody be more prepared for any events we have.
Great. A couple of things I want to bring up. That power supply, guys, everyone needs something like that. There's nothing worth, and I know it's not an emergency if the power goes off for 10 minutes, but
No.
you would think it is on Facebook with the 100 people. The power's off. The power's off. What's going on? You just have one of those backup things that everything's plugged into and your power never goes off. So
Yep.
it's very simple. Sorry. As far as natural disasters, yeah, we all, like, you're looking at a volcano. I'm trying to think which way your couch is sitting.
I don't see, we don't see the volcano.
It does.
Yeah, we're facing east.
That's usually more of a, hey, something's going to happen, people, it's time to get out, and then you might have a few hours. But the earthquakes here, we had a 6.3 last year. So, well, not right in Bocchetti, but it was off the coast. So
You had one while I was in Turkey.
What's that?
You had one while I was in Turkey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So you need those things. So anyone want to pop questions into the Q&A? That would be wonderful. If you got questions for Dave on emergency stuff. We're going to send you on the recap of this call tomorrow when we send out the what do you call it? The replay. We're going to include the information that Dave gave me for your go bag and stuff like that. And I will include the major embassies that we know people are from here. I can't include your all, but Canada has the same type of program that the US does, that if you're living here, you should register with them. Because things weird, like if there was a major earthquake, yeah, the embassies get involved. They know who to look for then. And
During COVID, both the US and Canadian embassy did flights to take people out of here. So Janine asked about emergency. Is there an equivalent to 911?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that next, Janine.
Okay. If you do speak Spanish.
It's like if somebody like long ago, they got into a car accident, but couldn't understand the cop or what was going on. So what that person did, they called in the circle's friends to come and help out. Right?
Right.
I'm talking about you, by the way.
Yeah, I think you lost us all there in that one. Sorry, Oscar.
When you're first arriving and you don't have your friends or know your neighbors yet.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to someone who provides this service.
Yeah, so like it's really weird. I saw up there, I never even thought of it when I was making up the list under emergencies of roadblocks. We don't want to scare anybody. That last year that they cut the
American Highway
in half for a week. That's happened once in 14 years.
To me, it happens the first time since I was here for over 14 years.
It had shorter ones, 2-hour roadblocks happen a lot. Get used to that. This one here, within the 3rd or 4th day of people not getting medicines and stuff, they started flying things around the roadblock. They'll figure something out after, but we don't see that happening again in the near future. The regular roadblocks, they happen all the time. Deal with it. You should have in your car on your list. You forgot something: toilet paper. Okay.
No, but the thing is, it happens, but I don't know.
Not often.
It changed every time that we change government. So this government has been a little bit more involved into those massive road blockage we were passing the pandemic. So a lot of other situations why it might happen. So hopefully in the next government in Panama, we don't have to experience maybe hopefully 5% of what we experience in this one. You know, there's always a side. Panama, it can be it's always transy. It's always it depends on the government. Things can be smoother. It always remains the same.
Mhm.
But it's always safe. It's always like nothing is going on besides just like, okay, you got more road blockage or inconveniences. But that's it. Like, thank God we live in a country that we don't have to worry about, am I safe to go to the mall? Am I safe to go to the movie theater? Am I safe to even go, I don't know,
Yeah. Mhm.
anywhere?
So back to Janine's question about 911. They have 911 here. Some areas do not. You'll have to call the fire or whoever directly.
Yeah.
Michael asked about the power pack. I haven't seen them for sale at PriceMart. I ordered mine from the US and had it shipped in by sea freight because it's a battery and you can't bring it on a plane. So
Casa de Batteries are now selling them now. They have the 250, the 500, and the 1000. They don't have yours.
okay.
They do in the city, but it's the same brand, the blue one.
Yeah, Blue It.
Yeah. Mhm. So
And
they
Greg
are
says-
starting to become available. Dave's is great. I don't think I have that much. I have a manual one where I just bought
Yeah.
each cycle 6-volt batteries, an inverter, and a charger. And so
I'm not as handy as you are, Rob.
Blackout in Boquete, and Dave and I would still be here, and you guys, my lights are back up, and everything. I don't know if you run your device like that. Are you plugged into it now, like your internet and everything?
No, I've got a USB for my internet because I have Starlink to take care of that, and I can switch it. Greg says make sure to comment about go bags for your pets. Yeah, don't leave your pets behind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually a spot on Dave's sheet for the pets. Mhm.
Yeah. And how many expats now there speak no Spanish? A lot.
Surprisingly, more than
A
half.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably more than half, which is really too bad because it's a Spanish speaking country. So take some lessons. We do.
What
Sí.
links do you have?
Vamos a cambiar este Q&A en español.
¿Cómo?
¿Cierto, Dave?
¿Cierto, Dave?
Sí,
Que vamos a hablar
Sí.
en español, ¿cierto?
sí.
Un poco. Sí. Someone's looking for a link to ShelterBox.
Yeah. I'll type it in there.
Yeah, you got to put it over in the chat, Dave. I don't think it'll let you.
Okay. I got it.
That. And the name of the 200 watt, that's a 2000 watt. 200
That's
watt.
2000.
Very easy to get.
That's a lot.
And
I don't know even what it means, but it means a lot to me.
And the
It
brand,
means a lot.
the brand, Dave, is
It's Blue Eddy. Hang on, I'm gonna get the link. I'll put it in there.
yeah, okay. Yeah,
So,
drop the link in the chat.
do you mind if I ask how much is that? Because I really want to get one for myself.
I think it was 1,500.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Plus shipping, yeah.
Shipping was pretty heavy because it came in on ship. So
Yeah.
Shipping
But
or
that's a
shipping?
good investment, especially when
it is.
you
Yeah.
have that asset, you don't have that tool in your home.
Yep. Yeah.
Also, it's worth an investment,
Good investment.
especially for you because I mean, you have full
What?
everything where you live. You have full everything. Like you have a brand new road. I mean, everything is brand
Yep.
new, but it's still.
Yep.
But it could go dark for, like, you had a long power outage. The longest I've experienced in Panama was 9 hours.
Yeah, me too.
And that was just.
We had a couple 18s
Yeah.
when we lived in Jaramillo, but
It's up in
our power out here is a lot sturdier than it was up there.
Yeah. You're not seeing that now for sure. Mhm. But I bought my system because I worked online, but now I love it. In the evenings, power will go off and my Netflix and everything, my lights stay on, like nothing stops. So it's perfect. Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, I think we got all the
Okay,
questions.
I think we
for
got
now.
all those. So we are going to thank Dave after this event. Well, tomorrow when I send out the replay, I'll send the links and Dave's go bag list and Dave's personal cell phone number. You can call him 24/7 with all your disaster requests.
As you know, Rod, I'm retired and my phone doesn't ring.
Yeah, that's right. You don't answer it. Yeah, you don't answer your WhatsApp for half an hour. But guys, don't. And one other thing I wanted to bring out: this is not a Boquete centric call. It just happens to be all the experts have retired in Boquete.
Yeah.
And you know, Dave's advice works all across the city. And the next person we're talking to, Rodney, yeah, he lives in Boquete, but he provides service across the country. And the final thing we're going to talk about is relative to everyone across the country. It's just that to have a guy of Dave's caliber come spend the night. And Bridget, hi Bridget, I know you're in the background there somewhere.
Yes, he's waving.
She's waving. Yeah,
we gotta get together, guys.
yeah. And they've also
I
become
know.
personal friends of ours, and we love having them around. And we do have Dave's personal cell phone, so in case of a major
Yes.
disaster, we get
Or in
it
case we need
first.
some red wine
Yeah.
Yeah.
and chocolate.
I can call him at 2 a.m. He's like, "What's up, buddy? What's up?"
What's up? Yeah, no, on
No.
his voicemail.
I would never call that
Okay.
unless it's a true emergency.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Dave.
Dave.
Thank you so much for being the one of the most beautiful assets in this town. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, guys.
We'll see you soon.
All
Now,
right.
Rodney, I just promoted you to panelist, so if you turn your camera on, you should be. Oop, there we are, panelist. No, I'm not seeing you as a panelist, Rod. There we go. We're waiting for Rodney Monero to join us. I know you're there.
I
Hello?
can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I
Yes,
can
we
hear
can.
you, Rodney.
Hello.
We
Good
gonna come on
afternoon,
with your camera or not?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I think it's on.
No,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
but we're not seeing you because you're not here as a panelist, and I don't know why. And did you click the link, or did you that I personally emailed you? Is that how you joined?
Okay, I
Oh, there
just
we go. Now you are there. Now you should be able to join. Turn your camera on. There we go. All right, folks. Now this next topic we're gonna talk is really exciting. As Rodney's getting connected here, I gotta find my right form, guys. I apologize. I need more monitors. Now, if I was to phone 911 right now from my phone, guess what? They're gonna answer in Spanish, and I'm not that good at it. Megan could get by. She's gonna have to give them directions to a home that doesn't have a house number or a street
Address.
sign.
That's the
So
tricky part.
it's a very, very good challenge. We still can't see your video, Rodney.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you though.
My camera.
Yeah, it actually shows that your video is working, but we just don't see it.
Black.
Yes, it's on.
Mhm.
I move it to on, but not sure what else to do.
Yeah. I'm gonna continue. You can figure it out introducing you. So years ago in Boquete, just because we're the best, there was a need that the expats saw. They needed, how do we call an ambulance? How do we call the police? How do we call the fire department? How do we report suspicious activity? How do we do all this? What are all the numbers? And back then there wasn't the 911. There was a number for everything, and people had to have them written down, and they had to get through the blundering attempt at Spanish to get help. So there back then it was called Alto Kremlin, and I'm talking 10 years ago or even more, and they created a bilingual 911 type service. 24/7, someone's always going to answer that phone for you in English or Spanish, your choice. You have a 4-digit number. They know where you live. They know if you have pets. They know if you have health conditions. They know, hey, Rodney.
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah, they know all this stuff. And anyways, Rodney became a big part of this organization. And but since then, in the last, it's been like 5 years now, you've been totally on your own, Rodney?
10.
10.
10 years.
It's been 10 years now. He's been totally on his own. He has his own employees, and you register with them on his site. We're going to get into all that stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about all the things you can call him for. You register with them. You give them a lot of data about you, where you live, who your friends are, basically everything. I'm a member. And then they can make you a plaque for your front gate, and with a number on it. You now have an address. And this is Oscar.
We know. Hey, buddy.
Hi, my friend. How are you?
Very good, my friend.
So
Great.
obviously Rodney is Panamanian and speaks perfect English. He's not the guy that's always going to be answering the phone, because you have staff. How many staff do you have? How many
2.
people? What's that?
2.
You got
2.
2, and you guys are working it around the clock right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Great. So on 8-hour shifts, no one gets a day off. So they know who to phone, and they can get the answers quickly. So if you are in a home with your spouse and someone seems to be having a heart attack, you phone the Rodney Direct helpline, give them your 4-digit number. I need an ambulance. And that's it. Rodney knows where you live. They're going to keep you on the phone. They're going to get a hold of the ambulance in Spanish on the other side. They're going to get you the help. So
Yes.
now this service started in the Boquete area. Where else do you have customers in Panama now?
Oh, also in another highlands of Panama, like Tierras Altas, this main Volcan, Cerro Punta, along the beaches, different cities. And well, we cover everybody nationwide if it's necessary, because people can travel and go anywhere. So we will be there also for you.
So you cover, like, when I'm traveling, if I got in an accident on the way to Panama City and nobody spoke English, you guys would help me?
Yes, we will do. And I also say we, because there is another organization that does the same for the Coronado area and
Yeah, we're
Panama.
gonna let everyone know who they are. Yeah.
Mhm. They work with the same website I do, so, and we back each other as well.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay. I lost my sheet right here. I apologize. There we go. So Rodney charges, yeah, it's a lot of money, guys. Oh my God, it's $90 a year. What is that a month? $7?
It's the most extreme.
The most extremely, and all I know, you can't dial 3-digit, but I programmed Rodney's number at the very top of my list. So when I open my phone, boom, there it is. So I'm gonna phone you and you're gonna answer. No, just kidding. We won't do that. Okay.
But
Yes, thank you. Yes, it's only $7.50
Yeah.
per month.
$7 a month, and on it, it's 24/7. It's for emergencies, guys. Do not phone Rodney at Thanksgiving and ask him how long to cook your turkey for. That's not the kind of information that he gives out. But
Or
it's
where to find a fresh turkey.
could be a tree fell on my street and is falling against the power lines. So that needs to be reported to somebody. And if you don't speak Spanish, you can't call the electrical company to tell them that a tree fell on their lines. But Rodney will do that for you.
Yes, we'll do it.
If you're in a car accident, what kind of questions do you guys have for Rodney? What else would we need?
in a car accident, if somebody's injury, what to proceed and make the call, the location. There is so many things that the Rodney has been and will be assist on that. Because just the language barrier can be so critical in emergency response.
We have
And-
some, sorry, we do have some questions.
we got
coming through
questions,
the
yeah.
Q&A too.
Yeah, the biggest thing, folks, you might think you know your Spanish pretty good, like you're learning, but in an emergency, you got to make sure you communicate well. And if Spanish is your second, or like me, a far second language, I need somebody like Rodney's team to help me.
Mhm. Okay, I see some questions here. Yes, I do cover. I also have clients in Puerto Armuelles.
Yeah, they do serve Puerto.
Yeah, you serve the Portal area, right? Pretty well all of Cherokee. And even
Yes.
people tell me.
Mhm.
You have customers in Bocas?
Yes, as well.
Mhm.
And somebody here, Vicky, has an important question, but I can't see the whole text.
She
Should I
said
avoid it?
she
Oh,
was
no.
referred to Panama Helpline and she's located in Coronado.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Because, well, she's meaning like it works, haven't. In what sense haven't it worked for you? Maybe they haven't answered your emails or
Oh,
has
no,
that
she
been
had,
hard?
she said she hasn't had to use it yet.
Oh, I see.
So, but she wants to know how Panama Helpline is affiliated with Rodney Direct.
We, like I said, we back each other operators, and that's our main cooperation. And the fact that we have all the same provider makes it easier for these operations.
Yeah. So again, guys, at the end of this call, we're going to give you the direct websites for both Rodney Direct and Panama Helpline. So for those of you who want to make that contact, you'll have it. Mhm.
Yes, thank you.
How about Panama City? What's going on in there, Rodney?
Oh, well, I do have some clients from there, but like you just mentioned before, there they have better resources in all these issues, like for emergencies. But you know, one feature or something that I mean, a really typical call will be for translation. Could be at the public office, which we will also do it, or between you and a cop stopping you to the side of the road and you don't understand what he's saying or what fault you did, or if you're getting a ticket, all that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes.
So you still could use your service if you're right in the city. Like I lived in the city 2 years. I couldn't imagine back in 2013 that I would be able to phone 911 and get an ambulance to my apartment. Like,
Mhm.
you guys do that? Like if you live in Panama City, where you help?
Yes, I can coordinate with the 911 service. It's sometimes difficult because they want to talk to the person in the place,
Yeah.
but sometimes they don't have bilingual stuff available
Yeah.
or things like that, and you know it's hard to communicate with somebody stressful during an emergency. So we do handle that as well,
Mhm.
and more than um, thinking that there will be an ambulance available, my services will perform better in the sense of knowing who or where to call. Because, for example, the 911 ambulance is located an hour away from Boquete Centro,
Yeah.
Bajo Boquete, for example. So if there are some private um, ambulance services closer to Boquete,
Mhm.
only that you will need to pay for the service. But if the person can afford that, I can also communicate directly with them and find out how much it will be, how long it will take for them, maybe sooner than the other ambulance, an hour away from Boquete. So, you know, we handle to manage all the different resources available in order to find an answer for the person having an emergency.
Yeah, exactly. I when I signed up, Rodney, I added to my notes, I have full coverage insurance. I don't care what it costs. So
Yes,
what the hell here?
that it helps. Yes, and I have different topics of information that are divided into different boxes in my website where
Yeah.
people fill
Oh, yeah.
out their
Guys,
form.
it's a great service because I left Oscar and Megan's number to look after my dog. Because if I had something go wrong with me and they took me away during the night, they have the keys to my house. So Rodney Directs people would call them to say, hey, we took Rod to the hospital, go pick up Dutchie. So so it's a good
Or
service like that. Mhm.
yes, thank you. Or I could be also calling your relatives in the States, your family, anybody, we can do that as well. Some people say, no, no, don't call anybody outside Panama, or some people do mention call this person first if necessary. All that is covered in my website in the information form.
Yeah. Mhm.
Are you able, we had a question from Nancy, are they able to pay for the service online?
No, we don't. I don't have that payment method. Unfortunately, not now. It's they can do online local transfers, preferably, or local checks. Also, checks from outside, but I do charge an extra fee because given I deposit as a business, they do charge another amount for the international check.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Nancy, you can pay for it through online banking. Or if you had to courier, if you don't have a Panama bank account, I'm sure you could courier the money. You could send it.
Or
like
deposit.
Uno Express or deposit it right into his bank account,
Mhm.
because he gives you the information once you sign up and pay for it.
I have to look at Ronnie's
Another
website.
one will be useful Western Union, right, Ronnie?
No,
No?
no, I don't use Western Union, but somebody here, for example, is saying that he's located in Veraguas, another province, another section of Panama. I do cover there, if this person is listening, but that's the advantage of me having Banco Nacional as my only bank for business. Banco Nacional is one of the, it's a government bank, but because of this, they have the bigger amount of branches all over Panama. So if you are in Veraguas and you just Google Banco Nacional de Panama, you will know where to go. And you first go to my website, fill out the form, and that will create an invoice for you and send an email with that information. And after that, you will go to the bank and make a direct deposit and email me with that you have paid for an invoice or created at my website.
Perfect.
Mhm,
Okay, so.
mhm.
Yeah.
This about asking about the ambulance from Boquete. It's managed by a doctor and her husband, who is a professional in the emergency services, and they do have equipment and also a paramedic available. So it's not only a ride to the hospital.
Yeah, it's changed a lot, folks. Even in the 12 years that I got here, it used to be a like old Ford station wagon with the wood grain on the outside. Like that, they're really old ambulances. We now actually have modern ambulances.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We do, it has been, it's just sometimes it's the logistics
Yeah,
to get those ambulances up and running and the time being that needs to be done.
yeah, that's the thing. Rodney has access to Minsa's ambulance, the
Yeah.
911 ambulance, and to the private ambulances. So if one's busy and and they redial until they find the next one that's available.
And just to let you know, folks, that Ronnie has extreme tight relationships with a lot of Panamanian services, including the ones we just mentioned. He's very well known in the community. He has a lot of backup, and his reputation is outstanding. Like when I mean outstanding, it goes beyond that. Just to give you an eye.
Thank you for saying that. Yes, like for a house, I can call a locksmith. Sorry, a locksmith, which is really important. You don't trust your locks to everybody. So
Yeah.
I do have a friend for locksmith services, which the client will pay for.
Yeah. All right. Any last questions on
Yes, I have here.
direct type service? I just put the link in the chat, and
We had the
Oh.
question about what happens if you have a heart attack in Boquete.
you're being taken to the beat. I missed that. Is that before? Who had a heart attack. He called his neighbor to be with him while he was dying. This is scary. Cheryl, I have to comment again. If you lived in rural US or rural Canada and you were 30, 40 miles from the nearest hospital, it's really no difference than living in Boquete. Now, that person probably didn't have access to a service like this and didn't know how to get that. The 911 service here is the public service. There's lots of private services. An ambulance ride is $250 with a paramedic in the back with you. They have several of those in Boquete. Rodney knows who they are. It's about being prepared. That's what this talk is about. And if you come here by yourself and don't know these things, yes, that can happen. But it could also happen in my little hometown of Dumas, Saskatchewan, where there's still no hospital or ambulance. Your neighbor does have to drive you in the back of the pickup to the nearest hospital, which might not be able to service you because it's not a big hospital. But here we got two major hospitals. It takes in an ambulance about 25, 28 minutes to get to Hospital Cherokee from Boquete. So
I'll take it in 20.
yeah, Oscar could do it in 20 easily.
Mhm. Yes, somebody driving with an emergency
Yeah.
should be even escorted by the police.
Yeah, they'll get
Yeah.
escorted. They'll have all kinds of lights. I see that all the time here.
Yeah.
They're going to get there fast.
Yeah, I always when I'm driving and I see an ambulance and instead of beeping and make sure everyone just clear the road, let the ambulance go.
Yes, somebody did ask about another payment method which is leaving an envelope for my business at mailboxes. That's still function, and some people get afraid or don't understand because they don't get a receipt there. And the reason is the payment is not for mailboxes; it's for me. So it's a very special service that they do, collecting correspondence for me. But everybody should email me. I left my payment there because I go for my mail about once a week. So it may take some days, but I will get it. They are completely trustful in this.
Yeah, and they do it for free. They do it as a volunteer service. They've got people. This is small town Panama.
Yes, it is.
Now, it's really, again, I stress this call isn't about Boquete because Rodney can help you out around, and we're going to talk about the other one in Coronado too. I'll send you guys the information on them. I'm really surprised something with the thousands of expats in Panama City. There's not a big one there, but heck, Rodney can do it for you. Might as well.
Maybe yes. All this takes, like you mentioned, it's my business now, but it took the effort of local expats worried and concerned about being safe in another country.
Yeah.
And they came out with this need, like you mentioned. So yes, it's good. Like now, different businesses too, like yours and mine, or clubs, different civic clubs to say. So it's good to always be part of the community for everybody's being.
Well, in the past, I wasn't really worried. I always had Oscar just a few doors down or next door, but now he actually is out working all the time, and so that's why I wanted to have your service too, because someone else. Well, thank you very much, Rodney. We're going to, and if you guys sign up for Rodney, make sure you send him a note. We saw you on the Q&A last night, so he knows that we're joining us every once in a while. Okay.
Thank you very much. You too.
Everybody, thank you so much. Proud of you, proud of the work you've done so far.
Oscar, Megan, me, Retired Panama Tours. We like your service. We recommend you all the time.
Thank you. I hope I can be part of another meeting soon.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. All righty, Rodney. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We are moving on. One more. So we're going to get Rodney to exit, and
There we go, Dr. Rod.
Dr. Rod. Isn't
Ready
this
to go?
cool? We have a Rodney
Rodney,
and Roderick.
Roderick.
I'm the old.
And I'm the old Rod, and the other Rod is the real Rod, I
I'm
think.
the real Rod now. Remember that. We got that.
So we've got to sort out who's who.
Okay, guys, our next segment is end of life care. What happens when I grow old in Panama? That's what people are asking themselves. I got lucky. I met these two, so I'm going to be in an extra bedroom in their house for the rest of my life until I'm 100. And Oscar will be 85. So, yeah, okay. So that's where I'm going. My end of life's looked after, but many people aren't. If you're a couple and you lose one, what do you go home or do you stay here and figure out how to do it? Well, in Boquete again, because we're the best. There's a organization called Boquete Health and Hospice that has come up over the years, and now it's kind of a big thing. And they look after, they do hospice stuff in the area. They do blood drives, and Dr. Rod Putala is president of that. And Dr. Rod himself has a big history as a medical doctor in the States, a lot in palliative care. I never know. I talked to him so much time and helping people in the hospice situations for many, many years. And he retired in Boquete. How many years ago, Rod?
3.
It's only been 3. Oh, it seems like I've known you longer. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but so we're here tonight to talk about, well, first of all, about what Boquete Hospice, how far we stretch on that in Panama. Like, is it just Boquete, or can I live in Dolega, or can it be David? Like, where we go, what you guys offer, the services you guys offer, the blood stuff you guys do, because no one else is doing that in Panama. I always find that quite exciting. And Oscar's already signed up for the next one. And the end of life book. So we're going to throw all that in. I have to step over 1 second, so you guys are taking it over.
Sure.
But tell us a little bit about yourself, Dr. Rod, where you come from, what you're doing right now with Boquete Hospice, its purpose, and what you guys are doing here.
You reminded me that I didn't send you a bio that you
I
asked
know
for.
that. I forgot your bio. I should know you.
Yeah. So grew up in Nebraska, did my medical school in Nebraska and my family medicine training in Iowa. Went into family medicine practice, but along the way deviated into prison healthcare. And then for 12 years, I did hospice care in the United States at several different hospices. Like Rod, the other Rod said, the real Rod, been here for about 3 years. Boquete Health and Hospice is about 15 years old. Started 15 years ago with 4 expats who said who thought there was a need. Now we have probably about 60 to 70 volunteers. And there's several options that you have. So one of the things that Rod has said is, well, what happens when you get old? Well, one option is there actually are some nursing homes here, one just on the edge of town. It's a converted house, but the cost, full cost is something like $800 to $900 a month. I think it's $1,000 if you have your own private room. There is another facility coming up at Volcan that will be more elaborate, brand new, and I think she's about $1,800. Oscar, do you know?
For what?
For the I can't remember her name. The one that's building the facility that's like nursing home, independent living. Well, it's
The price.
huh?
Oh, I think that's right about that price.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it talks about very right.
12 to 15.
And that's very much like the United States. So you can go from independent living to assisted living to nursing care at that facility. So there are some options if you get too sick to be able to stay at home and you can't get help. What we do, one of the things that Rod had mentioned was the blood drive. So Panama is a little bit strange. In the United States, you have Red Cross and they collect all the blood and they sort it all through and you go to the hospital, and if you need blood, you get blood. In Panama, you have to pay for the blood. You have to get somebody to either back donate or I think it's $200 a pint. What we do here in Boquete is we have a blood drive a couple times a year, and we have an arrangement with the blood bank in David where anybody in Boquete who needs blood can get it free out of our stockpile. So I think we have somewhere close to 200 pints that are logged in. So if somebody calls us and they need some blood, we can go ahead and make an arrangement with the blood bank for them to get the blood. Doesn't cost them a penny. You don't have to donate to do that. It's just that they're available for the community. We do ask. Panama is a little bit strange in that if you're over 60, I don't know if it's 60 or 65, they won't let you donate blood. So don't know why. They've got a lot of other rules too. But we also have a mechanism for you to match donors. So if we have a blood drive and there are 50 donors, and you say, I'll donate $1 per pint up to $50, that goes into our coffers to help with this, what we do. So back to Boquete Health and Hospice. So we have a couple different features. We're not like a hospital in the United States because it's all volunteer and we work strictly on donations. So we don't get any money from the Panamanian government, et cetera. Everything we buy, do, et cetera, is all out of our pocket or volunteer. We have several different things. So we have the actual hospice care, which is where if we deem somebody as hospice, which means generally in the United States, we use the parameter of, we think they're going to pass away in 6 months or less. We will bring them onto our service and then we will start providing various aspects of care. So that may be a nurse coming into the house every now and then to check on the patient. I like to do lots of patient education, especially with the Panamanian audience, because they don't know what it's going to sound like. They don't know about the death rattle. They don't know about people stopping eating, and that's normal. So you have to talk to them about not force feeding, et cetera, et cetera. And sort of watch for things that may need to be attended to, because hospice is all about being proactive. So when I do hospice in the United States, it wasn't like what's going on right now. It's what do I need to think about for the next 2 weeks? Are we going to have a pain crisis come up? Are we going to have issues with nausea and vomiting or whatever? The physicians down here are not trained to think that way. In fact, one of the sort of disheartening things for me is that they'll go ahead and do things when somebody's at the end of life, like give them IV fluids that just prolongs the whole dying process. Sometimes I can get in there and convince the doctor that that's not a good thing to do. But basically I can't practice medicine here, so I have to abide by their rules. And I don't want to tick any doctors off because then they won't refer patients to hospice that really need it. We also will provide meals. If somebody has a need for meal, like up to 2 weeks where they're all by themselves, they can't cook, et cetera, we'll bring meals in. We have a very extensive medical equipment department. We do hospital beds, wheelchairs, walkers, just all sorts of stool risers, et cetera. And that isn't just for hospice patients. We have a lot of people who will contact us, say, I just got out of the hospital. I'm going to need to have a walker for about 4 weeks because I had surgery on my knee or something like that. And we will loan that equipment out for about 3 months to any of the participants here in Boquete. So again, no charge for it. You either come pick it up at our lockers, or if it's a bed, we deliver it to you. We've got music therapy program because music really helps towards the end of life and stuff. And we have people who will go ahead and do a custom MP3 player music list. So they'll come and say, okay, what kind of music do you want? They've got access, God, I don't know, I think it's 100,000 different pieces of music and stuff that they can put on the MP3 player that we then hand to you, and you can go ahead and use it. Especially very good for people who are sort of in the dying process, because that's something that will calm them down. I'm not looking at the Q&A, so I
No.
don't know if anything's popped up.
A great job so far, like explaining what hospice is doing here. What area do you guys cover? Like how far will you go? If I live in
Well-
David, can I get help from you guys?
No, you cannot. And in fact, Delega, which is about, we don't service Delega, which is a town about halfway between here and David. We go to Puerto Rios, we go to Palmyra, we go to Boquete, Alta Boquete. So we limit ourselves around to the surrounding area. I'd say probably 20-mile radius, maybe.
Because there's only so many of you. But how does the rest of the country, Coronado, Petitcie, like I know in the past there's been some interest down there and people, you know, would you guys help them get started down there if they wanted to get started down there with their own thing?
Well, actually, Coronado started one and it failed. And I don't know if that was because of lack of interest or whatever. We are the only hospice in Panama. There is no such other thing as far as we know as a hospice. They do have a palliative care system on the law that I was told started in, that was passed in 2003 and has almost not been implemented at all. In fact, Thursday, I'm going to go to the first palliative care conference down in David, where I'll be able to meet with a bunch of other Panamanian healthcare providers, so I can find out more about what exactly does their palliative care system do. I know that they will occasionally send a doctor out, but nobody has done anything that I consider close to hospice. And we have sort of different definitions. So they're, at least in the experience that I've had with patients, they have to have somebody who has metastatic cancer who's guaranteed of dying before they put them on, as opposed to somebody who has dementia, who no longer can recognize their husband or their wife and is losing weight and so on and so forth. I use my US criteria. So if I have somebody who's got severe dementia and I know that they're going downhill based on several parameters, then we will bring them on hospice. And the goal with hospice is always to make the last days, weeks, months of a person's life comfortable, whether that's treating pain, whether that's treating nausea, whether that's educating the family that they have to turn them into bed so they don't get bed sores or whatever. So that's what I strive for.
Oscar and I were talking earlier about, you know, it's been about the big expat boom is 20 years old. So all these 60-year-olds are getting to be 80 now. So I think we're going to see this expand, obviously, with more hospice in different areas of the country. And we have, and just in the last 5 years, have seen more of the, whatever you want to call them, old folks home. That's what we call them in Canada. We have seen those popping up. There's Boquete has a small one, David has one, Panama City has a couple, Volcan has a new one. I see questions in the chat. You're going to get links to some of these places, folks. The price ranges, we started talking from 12 to 1800, depending on what you're looking at. There are, you know, not all of them are English centric. Like the one in there's one in Panama City. It's affiliated with the home care people in town in David here, Dr. Rod. But they don't have any English interaction in theirs in Panama City. So it's not really an option for people, for English only people. But I see that, I really see this business growing, and really, maybe
Definitely.
we should partner up and open up an old folks home. What do you say, guys?
It's definitely a need. It's definitely something that could
We
be.
need a doctor, come on.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, they might want to just to retire, but after retire to be, okay, I'm gonna go in a year maybe.
Yeah,
But I don't want to leave this country, so that would be a beautiful way.
so it is. But the people in Coronado, Petitcie, I guess you got to move to Boquete in when you get old. Yeah, we'll look after you here. Okay.
The
No.
good thing is the Boquete group already, they've done it all. They figured
Yeah.
it out. So for other groups to start it up with the Boquete team mentoring them on the how-tos,
Yeah.
I see it happening in the future.
But I do have something created by, we want to help Boquete Health and Hospice. They are near and dear to our hearts, retiring in Panama. And I got a million things going on my screen here, don't I? Okay, which one am I sharing? Can you guys see a whole bunch of chats? The
You're
Bocchetti,
sharing that screen.
no, that's my share control. I think.
I just see join the conversation.
Join the conversation. Okay. Mr. Teckelrod, who is, which one am I looking at right
Screen.
there? Okay. Now, Bocchetti Health and Hospice has put together a great product, and this is a great way we can all help them. It's a book. It's 60, 70 pages long. And basically, this is something you should put together, read, and fill out all the forms. I'm not going to give you the book here. It's a donation. But it has many, many things to fill out, instructions for what to do when your time has come. This goes to your lawyer. They can make your will with this. This goes in the safe. So when that time comes, if you're in Bocchetti, you can go to Mailbox, etc., and buy a printed copy of this book for $10. Okay. Since you are on this call, you can get the PDF version, English or Spanish, your choice. And you can get that for $5.50 on this call. All the money, all the 100%, all obviously of the money will go to Bocchetti Health and Hospice to help fund their.
All right.
Okay.
Now, just to follow up on that,
Yeah.
we not only have that book, and I will tell you that laws in Panama, when you die, are so different in the United States.
Yeah.
So if you die at home and you don't have a doctor to come out and pronounce you, they end up calling the police and it becomes a huge, huge, huge hassle.
All that's in
Whoever-
the book. It covers you. We recently went through that with a wonderful friend in the community here, but she was prepared because she knew all this stuff.
Well, and we also do workshops on this. So it isn't that we just sell the books, but 3 to 4 times a year, we will have a workshop where we go through all the features of the book, explain why this is there, why that's there, and why you need to go ahead and do this. So
Yeah.
It's real important down here to have all your ducks in a row.
Yeah, and the book, folks, yes, it's Bocchetti centric for as far as some emergency numbers and stuff like that. But if you're anywhere in the country, the book has value because you can just replace some of that stuff. It's got all these forms, all the stuff you should be filling out before you see your lawyer here for your Panama will, which you all need one, even if you have a U.S. will. So go ahead. I put the link in the chat. Retire in Panama Tours /BHH. All money raised in the next 24 hours. Oscar and I discussed earlier, our company's going to match it. So,
All right. Thank you.
well, actually, Oscar's going to match it.
Okay. I do not care.
Oh, you weren't in the room. Okay, that's fine.
I understand. So yeah, I mean,
He's
All
in.
right.
Hey, so what questions do we have last minute for hospice stuff? We had a few. Can
There's
you?
some more questions
Is
about
that a
the
question?
Volcan facility, if we can send details.
I
out with
have
that
the
with
link for the
replay.
Volcan one.
Mhm.
That'll be in tomorrow's recap thing. So how do you get a PDF version of the book? Ellen, that's what we just talked about. That link in the chat. Retire in Panama Tours /BHH. You can purchase the link with your credit card for $5.50. It will be sent to you within 12 hours. It's not an immediate download. We do this as cheap as possible so Bocchetti Health and Hospice gets all the money.
yeah.
So that basically means Oscar's starting a tour tomorrow and I'm sitting at my computer. I'll get Megan to help me sending emails to people with the book.
I have a couple things. One, you talked about the ambulance.
Yeah.
If you call 911, I'm told that the minimum time is usually 30 minutes before they get there.
Yeah.
Up to over 2 hours. If I needed an ambulance, I would call the private one that Rod had referred to. That is $250 or $300 to take me down to the hospital in David.
Yeah,
So-
there is 2 of those here that Rodney Direct works. So typically, like honestly, unless there is some type of an emergency going on, should be 10 to 15 minutes away from an ambulance here.
Okay.
They're
The
both-
other is
But
not
not
even
the
refer-
911. The 911, you don't, it's not
Oh.
even in town. And if
Yeah.
it's on, they don't come until after they finish their first run.
Okay. The other thing is I'm cheap. So when you had all your discussion about the power supplies, I bought a 2,000 watt inverter off of Amazon, the United States for about $200.
Huh?
I got 2 marine batteries down here,
That's what I did, yeah.
and that takes care of all my needs.
Yeah, perfect.
And it probably invested maybe $550 total.
Yeah.
It's a real bird thing, but it works.
Well, that's what mine is. Look, I gotta dust it because it looks ugly. It's back in my laundry room, but it cost me $600 and I got power for hours. So,
Yeah.
okay, Vicky.
Okay, any other questions?
Vicky, your US legal medical directive, no standing in Panama. What do people do here, Rod? What do you know so far as your experience here as a doctor and with people dying? Non-resuscitate, US like medical directives, stuff like that. How?
Well, I'm gonna ask on Thursday, but as far as I know, there is a way using that book that we have where you can go ahead and put down advanced directives, but it has to be, if I'm not mistaken, it has to be either notarized or done by a lawyer or something like that. Nothing that's as simple as we use in the United
No,
States.
see, you do have the answer, which I thought you would. I read the book a couple days ago when they sent me when the girl sent me the new copy. Yeah, so your US medical directive won't help you here. In the book, it gives you different ways you can do that. There is
Right.
here. It's got to go
Right.
find a lawyer's help, and it needs notaries and stuff like that here. And it's going to be in Spanish and not in English. So
Right. And if you don't have a doctor who knows you, who's willing to come out and pronounce you, the problem is that, and I mentioned earlier, they call the police, number one, or they call an ambulance and they haul you back to the hospital where they do all sorts of things to you before you die.
yeah,
So
exactly.
you really want to avoid that because there's still this culture of sort of keeping them alive no matter what down here.
Now, guys, you need a family doctor here. And you know the great thing about it, you can have one the first week that you arrive. Let us know where you're arriving in Coronado, Pedicey, Boquete, we know all the great family doctors here. I can get you an appointment with one tomorrow if you want one. In Coronado, but I will find out. I have a couple that I know there. Pedicey, in Panama City, I know a great one that I really like. On Via Argentina. But yeah, so get a family doctor, very important if you're an older person, like, maybe not in your 30s, you're not really worried about it, but it's really easy to get here. It's not like the stories in Canada right now. You have about a 6 to 8 month wait to get a family doctor.
Wow.
Yeah, and you certainly have access to specialists down here too.
Yeah.
There are a couple in Boquete, but you go down to David and just about every specialist that you would want to use is down at one of the 2 hospitals in David.
David or Panama City, and you can usually get an appointment for the next week. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty, folks. We have had an interesting night.
We had a couple questions about donating. When they buy the book,
Oh,
can
sorry.
they donate the amount they want? They choose to donate?
No, the book is the price, but we are sending the links out tomorrow to, and I also put it in, there's a place where you can donate directly to Boquete Health and Hospice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
In
good.
$100 amounts.
Yes.
Well, I hope then this Q&A can help to raise way more than that per person.
Well, I hope so too.
Okay,
You
so
guys has been
I'm gonna put
wonderful.
Boquete, if you want to make a donation, you cannot buy I'm gonna talk to Rod. We're having lunch Saturday, right?
Right.
Oh, we're going to Dobos. I didn't tell you yet, but that's fine, in Salinas.
Okay.
Okay, so I
Okay.
put the link for Boquete Health and Hospice. There's a donate. You can find out how to donate to them. The book is the book. You just need. we personally can't take donations on behalf of, but we are giving all the sales money to Bocchetti Health and Hospice of the book, obviously.
Mhm.
Okay,
So the last two links in the chat are Bocchetti Health and Hospice website, where you can donate and help them out, and to buy the book. All right, Rod, great seeing you. I have not seen you in a long time, but I'm looking forward to Saturday having lunch.
I saw you last week. Was it
yeah,
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, you were taking a package from Eliezer.
well, it's one of the, yes, it's Servitech, and so that's one of the most popular places here, because all people buy all the stuff from Amazon and they ship it to
All right.
Servitech. Yeah. Okay, thanks so much for asking me.
Thank you for joining
Thanks,
us.
Dr. Rod.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
All right.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
folks,
much.
we are closing it for the night. Again, please be patient. It takes a few hours to process these videos and stuff like that. I gotta get uploaded to YouTube, get it on the website. Tomorrow, usually by noon, I send out the links to, and with all the information that we talked about, with Dave's go bag list, with Rodney Directs and Cornetto Directs, it's Cornetto something else,
Helpline.
helplines, direct contact number, websites, how you get signed up, more information on Bocchetti Health and Hospice. And I want to speak to how many people are left here. I know a few of you think you gotta leave. Okay, there's still like 70 people here. If you're interested in, volunteering with, just go to Bocchetti Health and Hospice. If you're interested, if you're in Coronado or Tennessee right now talking about this, start having this conversation with your expat friends. Because we're going to need this in Panama, as Rod's getting old. And like I say, I get to move into their house. Not everyone's going to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
So, let's start working. Bocchetti Health and Hospice, really, we know them well. We know they did train in Cornell group, but it kind of fell apart. Cornell's going to need it. Cornell's a little younger than Bocchetti, maybe.
Yeah, but it's always a lot of people that wanna have the end game in that area. And not just Coronado, but the city, Panama City. Yeah.
I don't know where we're picking that up from, because no one else has their mic open.
It's Rodney.
It's right, yeah.
Huh? Oh, it is right. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
So, well, folks, I hope this Q&A was helpful, useful, resourceful, and despite of this the time of the month, this Q&A was full of a lot of very useful information. A lot of people don't like to think about the disasters, what's going to be the end of life, any of these. A lot of people, they don't think that way, usually get in trouble when events happen.
Yeah.
And personally speaking, been there, done that. That's why I am very prepared these days in my life. I'm still raising kids and I have a family, so I'm always prepared about what could be.
And having all these contacts makes
Yes.
the potential move to Panama
Mhm.
a lot less scary.
Remember, always prepare for the worst, hoping the best.
I think out of the 200, and I think it was 275 people registered for this call. So out of you guys, maybe half were here, half weren't. There we are. Let us show you this country. Let us help you through this entire move process. November 9th, it's only a month away. I just put out a notice this morning. I already got people interested in this tour. We can take you around this tour. And December 7th, we got room for a couple there too.
That's right. We'd love to meet
We'd
you.
love to have you with us. But for now, we are signing off. Oscar, Megan, Rod.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.